has an idea of the perfect garden, but what are the building blocks? What are the foundation plants that you need to bring that vision to fruition? I'm Suzanne. I'm a horticulturist here at Rogers Gardens, and I'd like to thank you for coming. Today we're going to be discussing our favorite landscape plants for your garden. This is a very, very interesting subject. A lot of people feel like landscaping plants are kind of boring. They would rather look at the pretty things and the, oh, look at that, and but to have these beautiful foundation plants are kind of what makes a garden perfect, what makes it full and lush and really kind of like fully formed into an idea of a landscape as opposed to just planting. So when you're working with your landscape design or trying to rework a certain area of your garden, one of the really good things that you can do is just start big. If you have a clean palette, if you're just ready to start from the very beginning, I urge you to go with trees. Trees are just amazing. Trees are everything. Trees are for the future. A lot of times people are too impatient to plant a tree because it's just not going to give them what they need immediately, but I guarantee you down the line it's really going to grow a lot faster than you think it will. We have native oaks, which are definitely one of those plants that's building for the future. But even as a smaller tree, oaks can be really, really beautiful. But what we recommend a lot right now, and this is kind of a popular plant, but also just a really, really good solid plant, is an Arbutus marina. This plant is so great because you can get it as a standard, which is like a lollipop. So it's a round tree with its trunk here. You can get it as a multi-trunk, so you'll have maybe like three stems coming up, and it's going to be wider and a little bit lower. And I just also want to mention, after this is over, since I can't really show you all the plants that I'm really recommending and discussing, we'll put pictures up in our comments area or on the YouTube video, however they can make it happen. But we do have some Arbutus trees here at Rogers. We have a ton actually, because they're a great, great landscaping plant. There are a lot of different Arbutus varieties, but Marina to me is the prettiest. It has the biggest leaves. It has little coral bell kind of flowers year round, on and off, and then it has a little fruit that starts small and green. It turns kind of yellowy orange, and then it turns bright, beautiful red, and it really does look like a strawberry, hence the name strawberry tree. Birds and little kind of garden animals really like the fruit. They are edible to you, so you don't have to worry about your pets eating it, or even kids or yourself. They're edible. They taste a little pithy and weird, but birds and animals love them, so you rarely have any mess from this tree. It's surprisingly clean for how many flowers you get each year and how much fruit you have there. So Arbutus marina, just a beautiful, beautiful tree. We have examples of it in our parking lot as a standard and as a multi-trunk. It's just beautiful. Cannot recommend it enough. Another tree that I really, really love, and this is for kind of like the tree hardy people. A lot of people don't like deciduous trees, but I do. I love seeing the seasons of the year, and one of the best trees for seasonal interest is a redbud. So that's Cercis. Cercis forest pansy is my personal favorite. I love to recommend it because it has beautiful burgundy leaves, but the best part about this tree is that in the spring it gets pink flowers before it gets the leafing out. So you have this beautiful skeleton of kind of very, very dark, little spindly, almost zigzag stems and twigs, and these beautiful pink flowers come directly from the stems, not on the ends, on the entire tree, just coming out from the stems. It's so beautiful. The redbud tree is just amazing. And then later on it gets burgundy leaves. Other Cercis or redbud trees get green leaves. They're all round. They're really cute. They look sort of like an apple sliced in half, this shape of it. And they're really pretty throughout the year. They are a great fast growing tree. They don't get too big. They're very easy to keep a good size for most gardens. And they have a really neat hangy kind of growth pattern of the bigger ones. There are some that actually go kind of straight up, but I'm just talking about the tree with some beautiful shade. Just beautiful. And then in the fall they get a little bit of fall color, so the leaves turn kind of orangey yellow red, and then they all drop, and then you just have this beautiful skeleton of a tree going through the winter. So two great trees, Arbutus marina and that Cercis or redbud. I really like the forest pansy. Other plants that help you kind of flesh out your garden are the shrubs. And so this is definitely the part that people think is the least interesting. It's sort of like the plumbing and the electrical and the, you know, the less interesting parts of your house to renovate, but it's definitely super important. So we have some really cool Pittosporums. A lot of people know the Pittosporum from the silver sheen, but we have Pitosporum Crassifolium nana, which is a gorgeous plant. It gets about 3 or 4 feet tall and wide. If you give it the right amount of space, you never have to prune it, and so that makes it perfect. It forms like a little tuffety kind of plant. It's got this beautiful gray-green foliage, gray underneath, green on the top. And we also, I don't have it's called Pittosporum Wheeler's Dwarf, which is very similar to this, except for the leaves are dark green and shiny and have these beautiful flowers on them that are called mock orange blossoms. I'm gonna reach down for a second. This is also a Pittosporum golf ball. This is another great plant that basically will get about 4 feet tall, and just, it grows like a golf ball. So it's so easy. If you want to keep it smaller, you can prune it, but otherwise just give it the right amount of space, and again, easy. And these big round shapes are so great in your garden, just to have, you know, you have your trees going up, and then you have your shrubs here. This all kind of builds a framework for lower plants. And I don't know if you can see it, but we'll discuss it as Westringia. That's another nice big round ball plant that you can keep to the size you want. There are small ones called gray box and Mundy and things like that. Little gem, I think it's like low gem. But there are also taller ones that'll get 4, 5, or 6 feet tall. Just big and round and very light. They give a lot of movement to the garden, super drought tolerant. I think everything that I've discussed so far is basically a drought tolerant or water wise plant once it gets established. And other really cool things that you can put in your garden, and it has become kind of a favorite of mine this year, are grasses. These are Lomandra, 2 different varieties of Lomandra. This one's called Shorty, and so you can see it stays nice and short, and it's lime green. It is gorgeous. If you combine this with a forest pansy tree, which has those burgundy leaves, it's just going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is a newer Lomandra that we just got in called Arctic Frost. It's a beautiful variegated leaf plant, and you know, it just goes great with the other plants. With landscaping, you're gonna talk a lot and think about texture and color and height, and so don't always think about just, you know, a shrub. Add a shrub with some grasses and you'll have different textures. We have these beautiful Cecilarias with these gorgeous little seed heads on here. Going back to the habitat gardens, it's not just beautiful, it also provides some seeds for the birds, so you're going to have more wildlife in your garden. And then this is really funny. This is a Miscanthus. It's kind of misleading because it's not too big here, but Miscanthus gets big and full and lush, but I brought it to show you these beautiful seed heads that it gets in the fall, and they are just beautiful. And it's not going to spread in your garden, so it's really, really nice. So we have just the absolute classic boxwood. Who doesn't love a little boxwood hedge? Really, any garden, if you have ideas in your head about what a classic garden is, there's almost always a boxwood hedge, whether it's around your roses or along your pathways. But boxwoods really are a great plant, and they're part of that foundation, whether it's this short one like these, we have dwarf English boxwoods. They only get about 2 feet tall. There are some that grow like a tower, and there are some that get 8 to 10 feet tall. You just choose the right one for whichever situation you're going to be using, and then it'll all work out, and you don't have to do too much pruning. But if you do put a 10-foot boxwood in a place where you're only going to have a 2-foot hedge, you will be pruning it a lot more, and it'll probably get a little less lush than you would like. Okay, other like a shrubby plant. Can you see this, Marissa?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
There you
go.
This is a gorgeous Vitex Purpurea. If you can't tell, it has green leaves on the top and purple underneath. It is beautiful. It is amazing, and it is one of those plants that you can kind of do what you want with it. It can be a small, you can turn it into a ball, you can turn it into a patio tree, or you could just have it as a nice kind of a filling shrub. It gets beautiful, beautiful flowers on the edge. It's called Arabian lilac, so that is Vitex Purpurea. And then last kind of shrubby plant, this is kind of a combination between a flowering plant and a shrubby plant, but this is Prostanthera, and this is variegata. It gets little blue flowers occasionally, but this is a light, beautiful, airy plant that you can tuck in among your other kind of more foundational shrubs, and it's going to fill in area right there, and it smells like heaven. It's called flannel mint bush, so when you brush past it, it's going to be just gorgeous. So you can, again, mix it with some grasses. It's a really good foundation plant and really fun. So for color, everybody has their own ideas of color, what you're going to put a little bit lower to kind of give it that special look that you want. And one of my favorites, and it just so happens to be our flower of the month for September, so it's lucky for all of us. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I have a feeling Sarah might be talking about it on Thursday, but we have sages, and sages come in so many shapes and sizes, from these little bedding ones that are white. They also come in red. These are just adorable, and you can use them for a seasonal coloring. Oops, I just broke off a little sage there. This is Mystic Spires. It's probably one of our biggest sellers here. This gets to be about 3 to 4 feet tall with its spikes, and it blooms pretty much the entire year. Birds love this, hummingbirds love this, and butterflies love this. It is a really, really nice, kind of a well-behaved plant for any garden because it looks good. A lot of times when people think about the sages, they're going to think about something like this, which is probably not the best example, but this is the Salvia gregii. It gets a little woody, it gets a little more rustic like this one here. This one is called Red Velvet. It has these beautiful, beautiful flowers on it, but it is definitely a little more light, a little more rustic. You'll chop it back a lot to keep it from getting too woody. This one here, one of the most popular Salvia gregii is Hot Lips. It's a red flower with a little bit of white on it. It has been so popular. This is a new variety of that, and it's called Amethyst Lips. So although it's not giving us any color today, thank you very much, it is that beautiful, beautiful deep lavender with white as well. So if you like Hot Lips, I think you're really gonna love this Amethyst Lips. It is gorgeous. Another thing, just salvia wise, sorry I'm turning away too much. This is a salvia, and it's a ground cover salvia. So a lot of times you want to fill in some area, but maybe not be constantly putting in, taking out, or just want to have a beautiful carpet of green. This will get 6 to 8 feet wide. This is called Salvia Bees Bliss. There's a couple of different plants called Bees Bliss, but this is specifically Salvia Bees Bliss. This will form a beautiful carpet, and it will get beautiful blue flowers in the spring, but it is fantastic and super water-wise. And if you have shade, this is another, just a favorite of ours, and I've got to find the flower on it. Oh, it's down here. I don't know if you can see this right now. Mm-hmm. This is a Butylon. So if you have a morning sunspot or a good light shade area, a Butylon is a great, great plant. This obviously is a very tall variety. This one's called Tiger Eye. There are Butylons that'll stay about 2 feet, 3 feet, more shrub-like, but give you these beautiful, beautiful flowering maple kind of flowers. pretty much on and off all year. As long as you don't give it too much direct sunlight in the afternoon, it is going to have these beautiful leaves and just flower, flower, flower. The hummingbirds love it. I really like, because finches love to go in there, and if there are any bugs in there, the finches just love to take care of them. It's a very easy plant to maintain. Just give it a regular watering and fertilizing. And that is pretty much it for my color. I don't want to go too much into it because everybody has their own perfect idea of what a garden is going to look like. But when you come into Rogers, if you have an idea, we're going to help you really fulfill everything. And so that's it for me. I'd like to thank you for joining. Are there any questions, Marissa?
Yes, there is.
Oh boy.
Snowball trees, can they be planted and grown in Southern will they do well in Southern California?
So if you mean the viburnum, the little viburnum snowballs, there are some that'll do really well here. We usually sell them in the spring. The great thing about them is how much color they can give you. I wouldn't give them, again, any afternoon sunlight. They do really, really well with some morning sun. They grow very well. I've seen a lot of them here. Some people don't like them because they go dormant in the winter. So if you know about it, then you would definitely, and you want it, definitely plant it. They are gorgeous, gorgeous plants.
All right, well, that seems to be all the questions that we have today.
That's cool. Okay, I want to thank you for coming, and I would love to invite you to join Sarah on Thursday afternoon. If you missed any of, Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning. If you missed any of this, just go to our YouTube channel and click on subscribe. It's pretty cool to watch all of our videos and get a lot of information there. We also have rogersgardens.com. We have a Pinterest page, which I always forget to mention. We have our Facebook and our Instagram, of course. And if you'd like, just go to rogersgardens.com and become a preferred member. Then you'll get our emails and telling you all about our special events that we have coming up. And if you didn't know it, Halloween begins on Friday here, and it is amazing. So please join us there. I thank you all, and I'll see you next week.